exceeding expectations in 2023. Gary Gilmore of the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers hops on Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. I'm your host, Dave Schultz. Thrilled and honored to have our guest on today is the head coach of the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. We recap their 2016 run through Baton Rouge in the Super Regional and talk about what it was like to be in Omaha as probably the fan favorite, the underdog, taking down all those Power 5 schools, what it's been like to come to the Sun Belt. We talk about his cancer diagnosis and how he's dealing with that, the 2023 expectations, and we talk about last weekend's series win in Lafayette. They took 2 out of 3 from the Ragin Cajuns. So with no further ado, it is the head coach of the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, Gary Gilmore. Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Really thrilled and honored to have our next guest. He is the coach of the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers baseball team. He is Gary Gilmore. He is his 27th season as the head coach of Coastal Carolina, winning a national championship in 2016. That still has to go down, Coach, as one of the more improbable runs in postseason history. Is there a day that goes by that somebody doesn't remind you of that?
No, and I hope it never does. That was an incredible group of young men and staff guys around me. I know that, at least for me, I know the Lord had a hand in that in some manner to put me and all those kids in the same place at the same time.
So it's one thing to win a regional. It's another thing to come into Alex Box Stadium in Baton Rouge and take down the LSU Tigers. When did you guys think maybe we can actually get this done? Because I'm not too sure there were a whole lot of people there, at least in the purple and gold, that thought that was going to happen until maybe later on, until the series got going.
Oh, I'm sure that they didn't think it. I'll be honest. It was, I don't know that we were that we put, anything ahead of we preached so much one pitch at a time that, I honestly don't know that we got all that caught up in it. The very first day, I mean, we swung the bat really well in game 1 there and distanced ourselves away from them and kind of hung on at the end. And, then game 2 was a pitching battle pretty much the whole game. And, it was, if anybody that watched it, I mean, it was probably the most emotional game I've ever been a part of in my life, even more so than the last game of the national championship series. And it was incredible, the highs and lows in that game. Just, we had chances to expand and we just couldn't get away from them. And then we gave the lead away and, or gave the lead away and they tied it up and we got out of the bases loaded, 1 out, 3-1 count. We got out of it without giving up a run. And, it just, the rest is found a way to, create history from there.
It's awesome when I talk to people and they say they don't remember those things, but you seem to remember every single detail. Detail.
I can tell you what, man, I've lived every pitch many, many times.
Right. Talking to Gary Gilmore, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. And so I got to believe the experience in Omaha, besides the winning, I'm sure the fans in Omaha that, are just there, not anyone connected to the schools and maybe even connected to some schools, you're going to have to be the fan favorite because you're at the time, right out of the Big South. You're not a Power 5 school. No one knows what a Chanticleer is or how to say it, and you got these cool colors. What was the experience like back in Omaha when Coastal Carolina arrived?
Well, we were kind of like a novelty item at the gift store, for the first 2 or 3 days because it was kind of like I don't think anyone expected us to be there more than 2 days. And so, it was kind of funny. My wife, she asked me the first or second day we were there. She goes, "You want me to buy a bunch of shirts or whatever? I said, don't worry about it. We'll get something, depending on how things go or whatever. She goes, no, you don't understand. Because I never went in those things. She goes, if I don't get it today, there won't be anything. She goes, every single thing that's Coastal Carolina has been purchased. And I started laughing. I said, holy cow, that's crazy. She came back the next day and she said, there's nothing there. She goes, they've already reordered. They ended up reordering twice as we hung on there and just stayed in that tournament. And, I think it's, you look at our country, man, our country loves the underdog,
Sure.
I mean, whether it's college sports or professional sports. And, heck, man, we were by far the biggest underdog. I think if I remember the little thing the ESPN put on there, we had a 3.7% chance of winning the national championship when we got there. So, I mean, it was like, okay, this is the odds are so against this or whatever, and the lady, it was really funny that after we won it, we're there and we're leaving the hotel. The manager of the hotel, she came over and gave me a big hug. She goes, I want you to know, she goes, our hotel has never hosted anyone that's even made it to the championship series. She goes, we're kind of the last of the selected hotels. She goes, she wanted to make sure that she gave me a big hug. And she had said, this has been the most incredible experience of her professional life dealing with us during that time. So it was all a cool kind of surreal experience.
Well, how does that work? I mean, you're going to remember this better than I did. Did you guys lose at all? Were you ever facing elimination? Do you guys have to check out and check back in? How does that work at a hotel like in a tournament like that?
NC State. Oh, that was a night. That was an absolute nightmare. That it's, that rain came that night. Dave, heck, we got the bases loaded, one out, and I mean, you couldn't play, but it was like they just kind of left us in our dugout. And NC State, which they've changed some rules. But back in the day, you were supposed to have no advantage because you were a home team, be able to use your locker room and all that kind of stuff. So they go back in their locker room, clubhouse. They're playing cards and watching TV. We're in our dugout, and I guess the drain in the dugout had not been cleaned and plunged out in a long time. I am knee deep. I promise you, we've got pictures of it. I am knee deep standing in water in our dugout. It is lightning so bad we can't even make a run to the bus. And I'll be honest. Some of the worst side of me came out during that time. To be honest, I was seriously bent out of shape over that whole deal. But we go back to the hotel and we had checked out, and there are no rooms. So no rooms in the hotel. We had to change hotels, and we had guys sleep on the floor. They had a lot of rooms where they had not been able to clean them. They had to call a cleaning lady and clean people and bring them in at like 1 o'clock in the morning. We got maybe 4 or 5 hours of sleep that night.
Oh man, I can only imagine what's coming out of a drain out of a.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was
in this case a minor league baseball or a baseball stadium drainage full of maybe tobacco and old sunflowers.
Yeah, we should have all had a hazmat suit on with what was floating in that water.
Yeah.
The kids they took all the paper cups and the tissues and everything they could find. They made boats. We had boat races. That's how long we were in the dugout.
We're talking to Gary Gilmore, head coach of Coastal Carolina Chanticleers baseball team. All right, so you already knew you were coming to the Sun Belt. How else did winning the national championship change the program from in reality and in the perception of the program?
I mean, people inside college baseball, us getting to Omaha, I don't think was, it wasn't like a major shock. Obviously it's, a small conference and this and that. But I mean, we had, 2010, we were the number 4 national seed. It wasn't like this program had not had great success on a national level. We had just not been able to get past that super regional piece, which is not easy to get.
No, it's not.
Get past. And, when we actually were the 4 seed, we didn't have a stadium to play in. So we basically had to play in the minor league park, which, the dimensions and the way it was constructed was completely different than our park. And, it just didn't play to our advantage. And, South Carolina played just a teeny bit better than we did. And, they ended up winning a national championship. But, I think the perception across the country was, I think that part 1,000,000% changed, not only for our baseball program, but for our university. It really gave us an identity, and our brand of the Chanticleer and this and that. Which it had, was very localized at best here, until that point in time. That really significantly changed the perception of being the little engine that could all of a sudden was, perceived in a really different way.
We're talking to Gary Gilmore, head coach of Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, Locked On Sunbelt. I'm going to ask you, I know. All right, off to a great start. Let's take a time out. We'll come back. We will talk about his cancer diagnosis and how he's dealing with that. And we'll talk with him about the 2023 expectations, because they have apparently exceeded them, what was expected. But first, let me tell you about Bill. By the way, I told you, I'm not all talk. All right, I got him. I am loaded up for the for the Built Bars. All right, for the Sun Belt Conference Tournament softball that starts next week. I need it because I downed a whole thing of Rice Krispie treats yesterday. So that's not going to help the Schultz weight loss project. That is for sure. But these things taste really good. They're healthy, and they're going to help me next week. And we'll see if I go through all of them. There's, it's like a baker's dozen. You get 12 puffs plus the 1 double chocolate bar. You get the churros and the brownie batter. Are you looking for a delicious snack but don't want all of the sugar and calories? Then you need the best tasting protein bar ever. It's Built. If you're like me and you want to make a healthier snack choices, but you don't want to compromise on taste, I've got just the thing for you. Built Bars and Built Puffs. Built Bars are healthy and taste amazing. They taste so amazing you won't know they're good for you. You got to try it. What makes Built Bars so good? Well, for starters, they're all covered in 100% real chocolate. Real dark chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. And they come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and cookies and cream. I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is that they're healthy. Only 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait to get a box. For years, we've been talking about ordering Built Bars and Built.com at Built.com, but now you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club, or you can still get your specialty flavors still at Built.com. That's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section, and grab yourself a box of Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate bar, or coconut puffs. If you're close to Sam's Club, and that's what I use, run in and grab your 13-bar box with our hit flavors, brownie, batter puff, and churro puff. You can thank me later. Still waiting for the peanut butter flavors. Again, that would be real dark chocolate and peanut butter. That sounds like a Built Bar. But again, we'll see how many are left. I may have to restock up. Again, following the tournament. Hopefully we will. God, just too much food lately. Well, I'm still working out, but the eating healthy part has been an issue. All right, back to Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. I'm your host, Dave Schultz. Let's talk more with head coach Gary Gilmore about his cancer diagnosis and the expectations he had for his team in 2023. I know you're feeling good. We saw you in Lafayette last weekend. You were diagnosed with cancer. You've taken that head on. You still look pretty good. How are the treatments going?
They're going good. I actually left Lafayette and went to Houston for my checkup and diagnosis and prognosis and all that. I mean, as of right now, everything is continued to be stable. I'm on I'm on a maintenance drug right now. I have a kind of I have a pancreatic, what's called pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor cancer, and it's a hormonal driven cancer. Anything with the pancreas is very, very scary. Mine metastasized into my liver, so I at least when I go there, honestly, there's as much or more concern as to, are they controlling everything in the liver, because so much of the blood supply goes through there every day. And this maintenance drug has done wonders for me. My body's responded tremendously to it, and gone almost 2.5 years on just the maintenance drug. I did 14 months of chemo, and now I've been on this maintenance drug, and I feel great. Got no complaints. Just blessed every day that the good Lord continues to have a plan for me to have an opportunity to coach baseball, touch a life, and make a difference in some manner.
Hormonal? Are you on HGH? Are you finally allowed to take some HGH?
No, you saw me. Definitely it ain't working if that's what I'm on.
Well, we're talking to Gary Gilmore, head coach of Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Let's talk about the 2023 version. You guys were picked 5th in the Sun Belt. You guys were not in the top 25. You're now in the top 10 RPI. You actually went from 6 to 7 because you lost once to the Ragin Cajuns. Tell us how this team has come together this year.
I mean, it's been a very unique thing. I mean, I'll be honest. This was, kind of deemed what we began the year thinking we were in a massive rebuild.
Right.
And, we lost 7 professional players last year off of last year's team, and 2 other portal guys that would have been 2 of our very best players, ended up graduating and going to SEC program, one to a SEC program, one to a big time ACC program. And, we just thought for sure, heck, we got nothing but freshmen to a large degree, a few transfers, and, just not a whole lot to say that, that we have experience wise. So, that part has been a very pleasant surprise for us, to be very honest with you. And, we've exceeded my personal expectations, but it's been a collective effort on part of our players and coaches. The coaching staff has done an incredible job. Coach Schnall, Coach Schilling with our offensive guys have just been absolutely phenomenal. Our offense has covered up a lot of what we're not good at.
All right, let's take one more time out. When we come back, we'll wrap things up with head coach Gary Gilmore. We'll recap the series against the Louisiana Ragin Cajuns and his thoughts on the Sun Belt having their championship in a neutral site. Before it was in Montgomery, it was being hosted by home teams. So what does he think about that? Again, I want to thank you so much for continuing to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is continuing to grow. I have no idea how that standings episode for the baseball one did so well, but we do appreciate it. Thank you very much, or I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Also, don't forget, you can still get it audio-wise anywhere you can get your audio podcast, whatever it may be, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeart. Just search Locked On Sunbelt, and you can find any and all of the episodes. Really looking forward to covering the Sun Belt Conference softball tournament next week. We again already have maybe Jerry Glasgow coming on, and we're trying to get Beckley Clark, and we're trying to get Smith Lyon, head coach of Marshall. Those would be the 3 favorites of the tournament. So thank you so much for tuning in and subscribing. Again, subscribe in YouTube, like the videos. If you see them out, share them on social media. Same thing for the audio. Really, rate, review, any comments. Happy to reply to them. All right, let's wrap things up with the head coach of the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, Gary Gilmore, recapping last week's series against the UL Ragin Cajuns and what he thinks about playing the conference tournament in a neutral site in Montgomery. what about this past series with the Cajuns? And now, of course, I presume all the time you get, everyone's best shot. You're at top of the conference, but you're also this, champion, although it was national champion before you joined the Sun Belt. So the first game got away from you against the Cajuns, although you did make a nice run. And then, a double play ball, and before you blink, it's a 7-run inning, and you guys take game 2. When was the last time, and maybe you guys do this more often than others because of travel, when was the last time you played a 10 a.m. ball game? Did you guys take batting practice? Because that's really early for baseball players.
Yeah, we did. It's, it's one of those things where you just do what you got to do.
And so, and then that game turns into a pitcher's duel, right? You guys had a 2-out home run in the first inning. The Cajuns,
Hey, you got a spot for Coach Gilmore. He's coming in. All right, say that again, Dave. I'm sorry.
Well, in that ball game, in that Sunday ball game, you got you hit a 2-out home run in the first. Cajuns tie it up, but then maybe the turning point in that ball game, it was bases loaded, nobody out, and you only give up 1 run.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that was a huge piece. Also, we had bases loaded with 1 out, and we couldn't score.
Right.
So both teams had a chance to take that game and kind of put it away. Neither one of us was able to do it.
And a little bit crazy at the end, right? You guys hit, was it Nick Lucky of all people hits his 3rd home run, an opposite shot. I'm not sure he got the barrel of the bat on that. I think the Cajuns claimed it was Win A did. I thought maybe if it was Wood, it wouldn't have gotten out, but nonetheless, he hits it out. And then Robert Graham robs Roccaforte of a game-winning home run in the 9th. Did you think that was when he hit it? Did you think it was gone?
It was funny. My pitching coach thought it was gone. I didn't think. I thought the trajectory was too low, but he hit it. He hit it better than I thought he did.
Right.
When he got it, and Graham Brown went back and made a heck of a good play outfield wise to basically rob that young man of that home run.
A few more minutes here with head coach Gary Gilmore of Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. When you were coming into Lafayette for that series, I'm looking at the stats, and as a team in Sun Belt play, you're like 30 points ahead of the next team hitting and batting average. You had, at the time, like 41 home runs in 18 games, and then I think you hit 6 more, and you steal bases. Coach, this is really not fair. You're like the Golden State Warriors. Mark Calvi, who you're going to see in a couple weeks in South Alabama, he called you like the Harlem Globetrotters. You can hit for power, and run.
We're I tell you what, we're not compared to some of my hit teams. We're not quite as athletic. This team has been this team offensively, man. The coaching staff has done an incredible job with them. They just score runs. Our ability to get on base via walks, hits, hit by pitch has honestly, just they have a relentlessness towards that part of the game of just being obsessed with getting on base and on base percentage. Have done a fantastic job. We've been more athletic in stealing bases, similar to Lafayette, and been able to hit home runs on a couple of the teams insanely good teams we've had. This team here offensively has played about as well as any team we've had. We just don't have enough of those athletic guys that steal tons of bases like Lafayette does, or else we really would be a incredible handful.
All right, how do you like the neutral field for the Sun Belt Championship? It used to go around to different sites. The Cajuns have hosted a couple times. I think you won it here in Lafayette one season, but now it's in Montgomery. How do you like the idea of the neutral site for the Sun Belt Championship?
Well, I think it's the most fair, and it's the problem with leagues like ours, we're still trying to create the rivalries and the fan support across the board, especially there locally in Montgomery, and just getting people out to watch the games, because it's high quality baseball. It just I think that that's kind of a challenge with every mid-major type league. The attendance at their conference tournaments, it's just a challenge. It's all during the week. So many people are working. It gets better as you get to the end, to the weekend. But that's the only thing where the SEC and the ACC, depending on matchups and that kind of stuff, they tend to get a greater audience. Outside of that, the neutral field piece it's the best way, to level the field so that the stadium, the playing field, all that don't impact, the surroundings don't impact one team in a negative way.
He's Gary Gilmore, head coach of the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Best of luck this weekend. You got App State. We will hopefully see you in Montgomery on Memorial Day weekend. Continued good health, coach, and really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Hey, Dave, anytime, man. Thank you for what you're doing for the Sun Belt and for college baseball, man. It's great, and hope we get to talk several more times.